A stranger at the park ordered me to move from the bench, saying, "My kids deserve this spot more than you." When I declined, she accused me of hating children and shouted, "People like you don't belong here." I smiled and replied, "Actually, I reserved the space for an event, and you're trespassing." I'm not someone who looks for trouble. I live a quiet life. I work from home as a software guy, no kids, mid to late 30s. I don't go out much except for my walks or the occasional park visit. Prescott, Arizona, isn't a huge place. People here mostly mind their own business. Or so I thought. It was the anniversary of my sister's death. Marcy died last year, car accident on the highway. It tore our family up. She was only 33. It was one of those losses you don't bounce back from, not fully. We'd spent so many weekends together at Watson Lake Park growing up, and she always said she wanted her ashes spread there one day. That never happened, but I still like to go out there and sit by the water, remember the good times. This year, I wanted to do something a little more official. Nothing big. Just 10 of us, me, my parents, a few of Marcy's close friends, and her old boyfriend. I called the parks department 2 weeks in advance and reserved one of the shaded areas by the pond. It had a few benches, a table, and a wide patch of grass under the trees. I got the permit. Paid the fee. Done by the book. I arrived an hour early with folding chairs, a small cooler of lemonade, and a stand to hold a photo of Marcy. I set everything up quietly. No music, no noise. Just calm. Then she showed up. I noticed her from across the path. Tall, maybe mid-40s, tight ponytail, yoga pants, walking like she was in a rush. She had 2 kids with her, toddlers, loud, already running around. She also had one of those giant double strollers and a chip on her shoulder. She didn't even hesitate. Walked straight up to me like she owned the place. "You're going to need to move," she said, pointing at the bench I was sitting on. I looked around. Empty tables. Empty grass. Empty benches. "Sorry. My kids play here every Saturday. We always sit here. You need to move." I kept my voice calm. "This space is reserved. I have a permit." She narrowed her eyes. "Reserved for what?" "A memorial." That didn't even slow her down. "You're alone." "I came early to set up." She scoffed. "Seriously? A grown man reserving a bench by himself? You can't just block off an area at a public park." "Yes, I can." I did. The parks department approved it. She crossed her arms. "Look, I've got kids. They've been inside all morning. They need this space. You're just sitting here with a photo and lemonade. This spot's already taken. You're welcome to use the open tables over there." Now her voice rose. "You hate kids or something? Is that it?" I didn't answer. Just stared. She stepped forward and raised her voice, loud enough for a couple nearby dog walkers to turn. "People like you don't belong here." I stood up, slowly. I didn't raise my voice, didn't look angry. Just told her, "Actually, I reserved this space for an event." "And you're trespassing." That stopped her cold. Her mouth opened like she wanted to argue, but nothing came out. She looked down at her kids, then back at me. She was weighing whether to push it. I held up the folder with my printed permit, seal and all. "I'll call the park ranger if I have to," I added. She finally spat out, "Unbelievable," and called to her kids. "Come on, let's find somewhere else. Some people are just mean." Then she stormed off, still muttering, "He's just sitting there. No balloons, no guests, no reason." That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. 20 minutes later, a guy from Parks came by. Ranger Dave. I knew him from past calls. He looked sheepish. "Hey man, we got a complaint." I handed him the permit without a word. He looked it over and nodded. "Yeah, she's been known to make noise." "Said you threatened her kids." I stared. "What?" "Don't worry," he said. "I told her to cool it. I'll stay nearby just in case." That should have been really the end of it. But the next week, I got an email from the park's office. She filed a formal complaint. Claimed I acted hostile, yelled at her kids, and abused reservation privileges. She even asked that my name be blocked from future park bookings. The kicker? I only saw it because I help manage the park's district's online system. I freelance for them. I built half the back end for the event calendar and user portal. So I was the one who got the email first, before it even reached my boss. And as I read her name, it clicked. She was the same woman who tried to reserve that same spot for her kid's birthday party. She'd submitted a request the day after mine. It got denied. She didn't care. She just showed up anyway. I was angry. But I didn't yell. I didn't curse her out. I did something better. I wrote up my own report. Simple facts. The permit copy. Ranger Dave's visit. And her full complaint, copied into a side-by-side breakdown showing every lie. I submitted it to my boss, the park's coordinator, and copied in 2 city council reps I'd worked with before. Then I looked deeper. Turns out, this woman, her name was Tessa, had filed 4 other complaints in the past 6 months, all against park visitors, all involving kid space issues. One was against an elderly couple feeding ducks. One was a group of high school kids doing a picnic. One was a yoga class. Same pattern. She'd show up, claim the space, lie if needed. And in each case, the complaints got dismissed because no one pushed back. But I wasn't like the others. I had the tools. I had the proof. And I wasn't going to let it go. I didn't stop with just reporting her. I started digging. It didn't take much. Her name, Tessa Marks, popped up on a local Facebook group for parents. Prescott Parent Talk. Public group. Nothing locked. She posted a lot. Complaining about the park, how the city favored childless people, and how grown men lurking alone near playgrounds should be banned. One post in particular caught my eye. She wrote, "Had to chase off another creep from our bench today. Can't believe the city lets these weirdos reserve spots meant for families. Don't worry, next week, I'm bringing backup." Backup? That got me curious. I kept watching the page. She posted again later that week, tagging a few names, saying she'd be hosting her daughter's big girl birthday bash at the park the following Saturday, same place, same time as before. No permit. No reservation. So I made a call. Not to the city. Not to Ranger Dave. I called the fire marshal. See, in Prescott, any public event with more than 20 people, especially where you're setting up tents, tables, or inflatable play areas, needs a fire permit. Not a hard rule, but something they take seriously, especially after a fireworks incident a couple summers ago. I didn't lie. I just asked, "Hey, are there any approved permits for a kid's party this weekend at Watson Lake Park?" They said no. I said, "You might want to send someone out. Heard there's going to be a big setup, and the person doesn't have clearance." Then I waited. Saturday came. I didn't go to the park. Didn't have to. But a friend of mine who lived near the area sent me photos. Tessa had gone all out, bounce house, tables, catered cupcakes, helium balloons, the works. Looked like at least 30 people. An hour into the party, city workers showed up with a fire marshal and a park supervisor. The bounce house got shut down. Tables removed. Her little crowd was forced to move their party into the open grass far from the pond, with no shade and no setup. Apparently, she argued. She cried. Claimed she had no idea a permit was needed. But the real kicker? She'd used a fake name to book the cupcake company and forgot to pay in advance. They packed up and left halfway through the party when she couldn't produce a check. Kids were crying. Guests were annoyed. Balloons were popping in the sun. She posted about it later in the same Facebook group. Unbelievable treatment from the city today. Shut down my daughter's birthday party because of a technicality. Some bitter, childless men will do anything to ruin a happy day. Comments were not kind. Most people knew she never had a permit. A few even called her out directly. "Didn't you try to take that spot from someone last week too?" One woman said, Maybe if you followed the rules, your kid's party wouldn't have been ruined. She deleted the post within the hour. But I wasn't done yet. A week passed. I didn't hear anything from her directly, but I noticed something strange in the system. She was trying to book another park. Not Watson Lake this time. Granite Creek Park on the other side of town. Same shady pattern. No permit submitted, just reserved a picnic table through a friend's name. I cross-checked the email. It was hers, just under a different profile. I flagged it. Not to cancel it, but to track it. I reached out to the parks department again, this time casually. Asked if we had anything in place to catch duplicate names or people banned from park use filing under someone else's name. They said no. Too much red tape. Not worth the time. So I made it worth my time. I added a small alert system. Harmless. Just a tag on flagged profiles that sent me an email when they submitted something. It didn't change anything in the system. It didn't block anyone. It just told me when someone shady was trying to sneak through. And guess who triggered it? Tessa. She was trying to reserve another park space 2 weeks later, this time using her husband's name. I checked the attached phone number. It was hers. The event? Community Kids Playdate. She listed herself as just a coordinator. So I made another anonymous call. This time to the parks department's insurance contact. Why? Because hosting public events under fake names while still under review from a formal complaint is considered a liability, especially if the host is known for confrontations. They flagged her profile officially, sent a notice warning her that any further park use without proper clearance could result in a fine. And if she lied again, she'd be banned from reserving public spaces in Prescott altogether. I heard through a mutual acquaintance, one of her neighbors, that she flipped out when she got the notice. Started ranting about stalkers and the city being out to get her. Even claimed someone was spying on her family. She tried to play the victim card. Again. But people weren't buying it anymore. Especially after someone posted screenshots of her ranting about taking back the park from people who don't have kids and making them uncomfortable so they leave. That Facebook group turned on her hard. One woman wrote, "You're not protecting your kids. You're just a bully who thinks rules don't apply." Another, "That man you screamed at last month? He was holding a memorial for his dead sister. Shame on you." I didn't write anything, didn't comment. I just watched it unravel. But then she made it personal. She called the park's office and demanded to know if someone named me was involved in the complaints or the system alerts. They didn't give her a direct answer. But she must have figured it out. Because I got a voicemail at work a day later. Unknown number. The voice was unmistakable. "You think you're clever. You think this is funny? You ruined my daughter's birthday. You're harassing a mother. I know what you're doing, and I won't let you get away with it." Then she hung up. No threats, just venom. But it was clear she was trying to intimidate me. Big mistake. I saved that voicemail. I didn't call her back. I didn't respond. But I forwarded it to the parks department and the city council rep who knew me by name. I attached everything: the permit, the complaint, the Facebook posts, the voicemail. Then I made my final move. There's a policy in Prescott's Parks and Rec Department. If someone submits 3 or more false complaints or uses public property under false identity after a warning, they're banned from reserving any public space for 1 year. Doesn't matter who files for them, if it's traced back, they're done. Tessa had 3, mine, the yoga class, and the duck feeders. All backed with statements or reports. They pulled her access. 1 email. Short and final. Due to multiple violations of Parks Department policies and misuse of reservation systems, you are hereby banned from reserving public parks or recreational facilities in the city of Prescott for 12 months, effective immediately. She lost her temper. Again. Stormed into City Hall with her husband, tried to appeal the ban. They were told it was final. She threatened to sue. She was told good luck, there was documented proof she filed under fake names. The kicker? That same week, her HOA found out about her behavior. Turns out, she'd been causing trouble at their community pool too, trying to block teens from swimming if they weren't supervised enough. Starting arguments. She lost her pool pass. Her neighbors stopped talking to her. Her reputation was shot. Then I got an email from her. Not through the park system. She found my business website and sent a message through the contact form. Just one sentence. "You ruined my life over a bench." I stared at it for a while. Maybe I did. But I never lied. I never shouted. I never even raised my voice. I just refused to let someone walk over me on one of the hardest days of my life. I didn't respond. But I did forward the message to the same parks admin, just to log it. I won't lie, I took satisfaction in what happened. Maybe too much. Maybe I let it drag out further than I had to. Maybe I could have let it go after the park ranger. But the second she called me a creep, said I didn't belong, and lied about me yelling at her kids, I knew I couldn't just sit down and take it. Some people think public spaces are only for their kind of people. Families, kids, moms who think every park belongs to them. And if someone quiet, someone grieving, someone different sits in their spot, they think they can shame them into leaving. But not this time, because that bench, that day, it belonged to my sister. And no amount of strollers or loud voices was going to move me.